Well, I decided to try out something new for the Edric deck. I wanted to try out Equilibrium, and this was the first game that I actually drew the card. I'm also trying some other things out. I put in Gilded Drake. I figured if I'm going to run Equilibrium, I probably ought to run Gilded Drake because that's basically control magic with buyback at that point, and I do have other bounce. And Gilded Drake is just a generally good card. Um, After this game, I'm starting to think that I may go back to adding in Earthcraft just because of how insane it is with Equilibrium. Since every creature you play, you can put Equilibrium on the stack. Um, you will have to pay for the mana for the Equilibrium, but you'll get the 1 mana rebate with Earthcraft, which is pretty nice. I don't know. Currently, I don't have it. I did really like having Earthcraft's Insanity in here, but that is an aside. So for this game here, what I've got is, like I said, Gilded Drake and Equilibrium, and if you stick around, I'll bring up the deck list at the end of the match. But check out what happens when so I get to go first, and I just ramp out the gates, come roaring out the gates. I mean, I had Bloom Tender as an option. When you have Bloom Tender or Priest, it's like Bloom Tender Priest or Fellas is so awesome. So he plays land tax for everybody. Whoever's got the most lands, the other guy gets one. So I'm definitely not going to be giving him any lands when I have elves to operate under. I think that was probably a bad decision. So I ramp out this way and just pass for the turn. I don't even bother attacking because it's not going to come down to damage. So I get to use his Oath to fetch up Basic Island. And then I've got exactly 5 elves, so that pays for that very easily. And this is what I draw. So now, how can we do good stuff? Well, I figured it starts by playing Edric and drawing some cards. So I do. Here's what I get. Equilibrium. Alright, so remember I paid the Echo on Deranged Hermit at the beginning of this turn. And this is turn 3? 4. Turn 4. So I have not played a land yet. So I tap for 2, 3. Cast Equilibrium. Oh, I see. I waited a turn because I had the Force OL. So I play Equilibrium targeting the Hermit. Now, if I played a land this turn, I could have picked my Hermit up, but I didn't want to even let him Oath in case he's short mana. There's no reason to let him get extra mana. So yeah, I waited one more turn to try going off. She plays Late Mind Field, which is basically like if you attack with multiple creatures, you Wrath of God yourself. It's a cool card if you combine it with Gideon. Very cool. But otherwise, eh. So I fetch up Island and draw a land that won't help me. And this is where I go off. So check this turn out. First of all, Tezzeret fetches Map, and Map fetches Cradle. So I Tezzereted for a Cradle. And then I play a bird, picking up Deranged Hermit with Equilibrium. Tap for 11 mana. Cast Deranged Hermit, picking up a bird. And then since I've got some mana, I play a bird, picking up Deranged Hermit. And then I play Deranged Hermit, targeting my bird. I choose not to pick him up. And I snap Deranged Hermit, untapping Gaia's Cradle. Tap Cradle for 19 mana. Play Deranged Hermit, picking up a bird. Cast Natural Order, putting Terastodon into play, killing 3 of the problem permanents. They're a problem because he has them, not because they're actually a problem. Now, what's beautiful, and I didn't realize until like just as like the light bulb went on, I was like, holy smokes, Equilibrium Terastodon. Not only can I pick up the Terastodon with the bird, yum yum, but subsequent turns I can just bounce all the elephants back to his hand and bounce, 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 bounce. Goodbye, elephants. Problem be gone. Freaking Equilibrium, holy crap, it totally belongs in this deck. So I Terastodon, picking up Deranged Hermit and killing 3 more of his lands. And normally giving your opponent 6 elephants might be a problem when you pick up your 9/9. Not when this is all on the same turn. Look at this total insanity here. All fueled by equilibrium. And then my opponent says, is this really fun? How about you take this somewhere that's not just for fun room? He has no idea how much freaking fun this actually is. And then he blocked me, so I blocked him because obviously, like, I don't want to play with somebody who's a poor sport. But yeah, is that fun? Are you kidding me? It's a blast. Unfortunately, I don't know what else I would have drawn, but on the other hand, does it matter much? Tezzeret with 3 counters there. All these elephants stuck. So I would have been able to play Deranged Hermit. I'm just trying to guess. Would have been able to play Deranged Hermit and bounce an elephant. But more interesting than that, for the rest of the game, I can play a creature and bounce Trastodon. Play Trastodon, kill whatever land he plays, and bounce the Hermit. So, like, for the rest of the game, no permanents are allowed on his side of the table. But, I mean, I get to play Deranged Hermit. More than likely, I would just play it and bounce one of his elephants up. And then Tezzeret for, who knows, what do you get, Jite? Do you get, oh, psh, duh. I would have Tezzereted for Skull Clamp. And then I would have tapped for like 1 billion mana, and yeah, it was all over. And what's interesting too is with Equilibrium, you can get something going with Cloud of Fairies where you can generate infinite mana, no problem. I think this card's probably going to stick. Anyway, that was a friggin' blast. Lots of fun. I like the fact that it's a counter to opposing Theft. I like the fact that it's a tempo stealer. It's a combo enabler. I mean, look at the power with Gilded Drake. It's like you play Gilded Drake and you play Gilded Drake, and how the effects stack. Equilibrium will stack. So you'll need one more creature. So you can play Gilded Drake, and Equilibrium will stack before Gilded Drake resolves. You can bounce one of your other creatures, like a bird or something. And then Gilded Drake resolves, you hand them the Drake and steal whatever it is that you wanted. Then you play your bird and bounce your Gilded Drake back to your hand. And then you reset, and you can continue. Also awesome with, Viridian Shaman, bouncing himself over and over to pop all their stuff. And actually, because of that, I ended up taking out the Trigon Predator. That might be a mistake. I don't really know, but I noticed a couple games where Brian was sitting with it in his hand. His opponent had artifacts, and he didn't play the Trigon. He was just too busy to play it. It was more profitable to set up a Terastodon situation or something along those lines. I've had the same experience, so I've begun to think that the card's alright, and I have 99 cards here. If I could play 100 main deck cards, probably Trigon Predator would be number 100, but I don't see a way to pull it. Like, everything else is pretty daggum awesome. Cloud of Fairies, Arayo, so the clones, the Gilded Drake, I'm pretty excited about, actually. I really like Gilded Drake. I've missed not having him. Equilibrium's nuttiness. Court of Calling is just like crazy. If you play Deranged Hermit, you can just Court of Calling for 0 and go get Cologne and put 2 Deranged Hermits into play. You can do all kinds of other really awesome things with Court of Calling. And the more cheap, amazing creatures like Phantasmal Image and Gilded Drake and Arayo and things of those nature, the more of those powerful, cheap creatures you put in here, the better this card just gets. So, I mean, Zenith and all these other cards have been locked pretty well permanently the whole time. So, it's possible that with Equilibrium's ability to reset creatures back to your hand and the other bounce, Homeward Path is less valuable. But I do like the fact that you can do stuff like Gilded Drake, give them the Gilded Drake and take whatever their guy is, clamp their guy, and then activate Homeward Path, and Gilded Drake comes back to your side. I like that you can do that. I like that you can do just simply the fact that you can counter Theft with Map, or Tezzeret, or Trinket Mage, all of which can get Map, or destroying the Homeward Path itself. So, I don't know. I'm loving the way the deck's playing. I hope that you did enjoy that game. Enough musing. It's time for me to get some rest. Thanks for watching.